Hi, my name is Mikkelsen, and this is the ARHS sculpture by Mark de Suvero in Dallas, Texas.
This red-painted steel sculpture stands outside of the Dallas Museum of Art at nearly 45 feet tall and weighs just at 12,000 pounds. Mark de Suvero, the abstract expressionist sculptor, was born in 1933 and was a recipient of the 2010 National Medal of Arts. He was born in China and went to the California School of Fine Arts before spending time working in London. He first started sculpting by using scraps of trash to make three-dimensional art. Many of his famous sculptures are around the world, but he is known throughout America for public art in places such as Minneapolis, Philadelphia, New York, California, Texas, and many more. De Suvero makes these large steel sculptures by welding and positioning by crane. He says that he forms these sculptures by picking up pieces with a crane and setting them down and repeating until he likes the way they look. When he is satisfied with their positioning, he welds them together. This structure was created in 1973, acquired by the Dallas Museum of Art in 1976, and was originally installed outside of the museum's Fair Park location, but it was put in its current location now in October of 1983. Before arriving in Dallas, the red steel pieces spent some time in France and New York. Like mentioned above, AV is very large. Two other monumental steel structures by Mark de Suvero lie within 3 blocks of this one in the Dallas Arts District. They are titled Buddha and Proverb. He makes these geometric sculptures and hopes to connect the elements of the sky, earth, time, and space. AV is a three-dimensional geometric sculpture. As mentioned previously, this sculpture is built on a very large scale, about the height of 8 humans tall and the length of at least 6 humans long. It is constructed solely from steel I-beams and plates. The focal point of the sculpture is in the middle, with what appears to be 3 beams meeting and intersecting. The beams are all linear but asymmetrical. The sculptor placed these beams in a way that the light would reflect off in a certain way, but the beams almost seem to shine in the bright sunlight. The visually complex sculpture shows intricate design while remaining simple. The bold enamel paint is a primary color, red. It is also monochromatic since it's the only color used. The sculpture is very open. It takes up a large amount of space on the lawn outside the museum, but leaves a lot of room for walking underneath and only touches the ground in 3 places. It almost seems to be balanced when you see the triangular shape the 3 base pieces make on the ground. It is an abstract structure, as it is not representative of anything except for what you take it to be. In the late 19th century, Sigmund Freud created a branch of psychology known as psychoanalysis. This branch of psychology focuses on imagery, history, and creativity. It reconstructs the past and interprets the relevance to the present. Expressionism is often seen as one of the most significant movements in explaining psychoanalysis of art. According to classical psychoanalysis, artistic pieces are sublimations of instinct. They are also expressive of the artist. Psychoanalysis also focuses on the unconsciousness as well. In the AV sculpture, it is not obvious what the sculpture is representative of, if anything. But what is determined is that there is meaning behind it, or it obviously would not have been constructed. This is where we study what the sculptor must have been feeling when creating this, or what he was creating it in a response to, thus the unconscious aspect. Specifically, the red color of the piece can be analyzed. This may be the artist implying anger or hurt. The fact that the sculptor positioned the beams multiple times before welding them where they are now can show his subconscious feelings. There is no doubt that the artist was expressing himself and his feelings in the creation of AV, making it a fine example of how psychology can be applied to art. In the late 1920s through the 1940s, a new art movement known as abstract expressionism arose. This term refers to non-figurative, non-representational paintings, or in this case, sculptures. Most artists who were considered abstract expressionists passed through a surrealist phase where they were influenced by myths and dreams. Artists focused more on the expressive qualities of paint and other materials and less on the understanding of what was being portrayed through their work. A painter from this time period says, "Art should not represent, but present." Mark de Suvero's artistic style would be considered that of abstract expressionism. The artists were concerned with expressing experiences and their reactions to them rather than the surrounding conditions. This was commonly done through the saturated line and color, the 2 most important aspects of the AV sculpture. Since it is a freestanding sculpture of bright red linear steel beams, it was not made to represent anything. It falls under this movement precisely.